In this video, possibly one of the most ridiculous things we have ever driven. This is an Icelandic-spec Toyota Land Cruiser 70 series. It's got a 4.2 litre 6-cylinder engine, a huge suspension lift, these massive wheels, I don't even know how big they are. Very. And we're going to drive it around the tiny roads of rural Wales because that's normal, right? So this vehicle dates from the year 2000. But the 70 series Land Cruiser was actually introduced in 1984 and is still technically in production today, now available with V8 engines and all sorts. Different wheelbases are available, but the Land Cruiser story is a very, very complicated one. It begins in 1951 when Toyota developed their own version of the Jeep. Now it was bigger, it had a 6-cylinder engine, but they still called it the Jeep BJ. That was the original series of Land Cruiser, was the BJ and I think FJ as well. But this is known as a J70. It replaced the J40. But confusingly, you've also got the station wagon series as well. The ones that were sold here latterly as Amazons, the 80 and the 100 series. We've done a 100 series test drive a couple of years ago. And then you've got the Prado, which is the smaller Land Cruiser again, and we briefly got those as the Colorado, and quite a few came in as Japanese imports. But the J70 is kind of the legend of Land Cruiser. It is the tough one that goes overlanding, which is why it's in this spec. It's been comprehensively modified. If you look here, you can see that because it's from the year 2000, they'd actually introduced coil springs by this point. But look at the spacers. Absolutely enormous, and there must have been so much done to get the extra height to fit these enormous Maxxis wheels. These are apparently an Imperial. They are 37 by 14.5, I think that's saying. It's a lot of tyre. They make a lot of noise going down the road, but drink it in, the magnificence of this thing. If we come round the back, we've got a similar split door system to the Isuzu Trooper, which was, I guess, one of its rivals. This one's got some LED lights in the back, and I'll warn you now, I don't think it's got the resistor, so the indicator flashes a bit quick as we're going down the road. But you'll notice the big Fuel Lagoon logo. Fuel Lagoon is the camping accessories business of our new landlord up at the unit. So this is his daily driver. We came up the farm one day and this was parked next to the unit, and we're like, oh my days, I think we're going to get on with this bloke. And sure enough we do. He's a very nice chap. But Fuel Lagoon is the family business. They make things like the window blinds that we've got for our Berlingo, and they also do door accessories so you can have extra storage in your campers. They don't do camper conversions, just some really useful accessories. Rear lights varied a lot depending on market. Some would have the indicators in this section here, but this has lamps down here instead, including a slightly loose screw. Hopefully that'll be all right. Now we've got some extra storage on the back. I don't know if that's for fuel or water. And the tow bar obviously requires quite a drop to be useful, but I guess that makes it actually quite a useful step to get in. And we will get in. I'll open the rear doors. If we open both of them up, it has actually got a simple camper conversion in here. This is Lee's kind of solo zombie apocalypse survival vehicle. We've even got little reflectors here for when the doors are open. That's quite a neat little feature. So we've got a nice bed here. We've got two 40-volt electrics. We've got a little toilet. We won't be exploring the toilet, but I am going to hop up.
Like a gazelle.
Like a gazelle. And I'll bring you up with me.
Yeah, because I'm not climbing.
Yeah. So we have actually got a pop top, because I don't know if you noticed, it's a bit tight for space, but the pop top is off a Mazda Bongo, not currently functioning. We may be able to demo it later. But yeah, definitely necessary to give you that extra headroom. If you want to see a Bongo roof in operation, we have tested a Bongo fairly recently, but plenty of room to for a 6-foot person to have a nice lie down in here, and other stuff is still ongoing in here. So yeah, nice view of the road ahead from up here. We've got some side windows. But if I hand you back out again and try and gracefully exit the vehicle, this could go wrong. Ooh, this vehicle is hard on the knees. This is what's known as a troopy or a troop carrier. So I think a lot of them saw use with the UN, the Red Cross, for transporting people in some of the most hostile terrain on the planet. So you need something that is going to get the job done. And this probably would have been such a vehicle, but at some point it was converted to transport tourists around Iceland. And then somehow via Lithuania it ended up in Wales. It's a long and complicated story, but it's a very rare vehicle over here. Everything feels very robust. We're now going to see if we can look at the engine, which I think is going to be a challenge. The rear wiper has been deleted. Under the bonnet, oof, jeepers! That is heavy, and I can't lift it any more than that. I'll have to bring you in. There is the 4.2 litre engine. It produces 129 brake horsepower at just 3,800 RPM. It is not a revvy engine, but it is a very, very hardy one. But yeah, I've no idea. How are you meant to work on this?
With a ladder?
Yeah, I think you need a ladder, yes, because you've got these enormous spot lamps in the way as well. Big bull bar with winch. Yeah, all mod cons. But yeah, there's your engine. Climbing aboard. Oh, I can't wait to see you climbing aboard. Yeah! This is going to be fun. Note the adventure outfit. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Very graceful, dear. Yes, climbing aboard. It feels awfully high up. We are a long way from the ground. It's very hard to see in front of the vehicle, but excellent door mirrors mean we've got some idea of what's going on around us. But you've got this the weird juxtaposition of a sort of modern-ish. The steering wheel feels very much of its era. The heater controls feel pure 1980s. And even the digital clock down here, a little dusty, is very, very of its time as well. The roof is actually a little high because we're sitting on Range Rover seats that have been retrofitted. I hadn't noticed, even got the armrests. So there we go. Although they're electric and you have to wire them up to a battery to make them move. But that's fine. We've got a switch down here. I don't know what the switch does. We've got rear wiper, sadly now redundant. We've got heated rear window, fog light. And that is kind of about it. Down here we have our options to go from high ratio to low ratio. Low ratio locks in the center diff, I think. Although we have got a diff control down here as well, so maybe I'm wrong. And I think we can lock diffs variously around the vehicle as well. I think that may be aftermarket, yes. That'll be an aftermarket diff lock system, presumably to get it out the worst in Iceland. I'm going to have to pinch the phone because we've also got a random button here. The Japanese love a random button. So that one is to lock in four-wheel drive if you're traveling at higher speed. So if you're on the road, that's what you use. But little face vent here as well. The clearest, simplest dashboard. Because it's in kilometers an hour, Lee has fitted a GPS speedometer as well, which actually gives a mile an hour. I'm used to converting with my 4x4. And we got some labelling.
It's a prayer.
Oh, okay. It's a prayer for people to enjoy along the way. But yeah, how are you finding it in here?
It's nice. These seats are quite something.
Yeah, yeah. And then we got the gear lever down here. Lovely slick operation on it, because you're presumably going straight into the gearbox. So very easy to find the gears, but as we'll see, it's very low geared already. And I imagine in low, it's very low indeed. What we got in the glove box? Oh yeah.
Spacious.
Got some drink storage as well. I see some cup holders have been fitted to the dashboard, and it looks like an iPad mount as well for when you're adventuring. And we got a little thing for the CB rig it probably had at some point in its life as well. But yeah, it's quite big in here, but let's go for a drive. The engine in this one is the 1HZ engine, so that's the 4.2 litre 6-cylinder. It's a reworking of the earlier 2H engine, but there was a vast array of engines, and these cars were always very, very modified for their target market. In Italy, you could have VM engines installed of 5 cylinders, but otherwise it was usually a straight 6, but later a V8 option. Now, there were 4-cylinder options as well in some markets, but let's fire her up. Wait for the glow plugs. Oh no, they're happy. So a bit of dashboard vibration we didn't have earlier. That's mildly irritating, but the engine noise is definitely gruff. And it sounds like there might be a slight lack of silencing as well. I like that a great deal. Windscreen washers, here we go. And it's a good wiping performance. They cover a lot of the screen, good overlap, no triangle of doom. So all good. But yeah, if we plonk it into first gear, the power steering easily copes with these massive wheels. I don't know if that was part of the upgrade. So no throttle. That is first gear. If you can see a warning light on the dashboard, don't worry about that. It's just there. So yeah, this is in high range first gear. It's still somewhat of a crawler gear. And if you think it's probably quite difficult to place, being left-hand drive and enormous and on massive tyres, you're not far wrong. It is interesting driving on these tiny roads, but tiny roads we must contend with. So yeah, that's oh no,
Oh.
we are not fitting past you. There we go. Resolved. So yeah, it does make some interesting noises, but and it must drink a terrifying amount of fuel. That little dog loved us. But it is actually quite easy to drive, and you get used to the placement of it because you can kind of see roughly where the corners are, and the mirrors are absolutely excellent. Try not to squish pedestrians. Yeah, we could definitely do some damage with this one. Oh, the dogs love the Troopy, apparently. They're all barking at it. I mean, it's hard to justify one of these vehicles, really, but to be fair, our landlord does live on a farm in the middle of nowhere, and I think he can be pretty assured that he's going to get where he needs to go in this. Plus, the aesthetic is just hilarious. This is like driving a monster truck. We generally don't go in for this massive wheel look so much here. In America, obviously they do, especially if they're going rock crawling, and in Iceland things get very, very silly indeed. This is quite tame by Icelandic standards, as we can probably show you some random images we found on the internet. But yeah, the old school engine just slogs along very, very happily, but we'll go and open her up a bit on some faster roads. Are we ready to unleash the fearsome power? That's 42 miles an hour. That's 50, and frankly I think 50 will do. No turbocharger. You could option a turbo, but this is like one of the last of the old school non-turbo diesels. And that's because people in Africa, people in Australia, you're out in the bush, middle of nowhere, they wanted things to be as simple as possible. So no turbocharger, no intercooler, just a simple engine. Sounds a bit truckish, but truck engines tend to last a long time, so that's a good thing. Show it the slightest hill and suddenly those massive wheels do become a bit of a downside. Yeah, we don't usually have to drop to third for this one, unless we're in Ellie. Actually, it handles better than I expected. I expected it to feel really top heavy and alarming, and it just doesn't really. That doesn't mean it handles like a sports car, because nah. But it is better than I expected. Oh, here we go. Some acceleration. Yeah, that's a lot of noise. Reminds me of being on the tube. One thing I will say, the transmission intrusion is enormous. The footwell is absolutely tiny. I think my foot would rather be further to the right, but no, simply not an option. So it's a little cozy in the footwell. Oh, that noise. Okay, I'll forgive it. Squeezing our way down the tight streets of Newquay, which at least gives us some walls to reverberate the noise off. Oh, this thing is just ridiculous, in a good way. So we thought we'd finish by just giving you the height difference. It's like the bonnet is the same height as poor Desmond's roof. But yeah, that is very, very silly. But it definitely did put a smile on my face. That's a lot of fun. It's utterly ridiculous, but very entertaining to drive. So huge thanks to Lee for letting us film with the Troopy today. Don't forget, you can head to the HubNut store. If you go to the UK store, we've still got, I think, 8 of these wonky beanies for sale, and that's it. They're gone forever. So go and head to the store, link in the description below, and we can do hoodie sales. We've got this style on our 4th wall store, so check out the other link if you would like a HubNut hoodie. But yeah, thank you for watching. We shall see you in a future video. Farewell.